Okay, here are your solutions to 3-6 guided practice. In number 1, we're being asked to write an equation in point-slope form and also in slope-intercept form. So the first thing we're going to do is point-slope form because they are giving us a point and they're giving us the slope. So remember, it's just a matter of y minus the y value, which is 5. So y minus 5 equals the slope, 4, times the quantity x minus the x value. So that's x minus 2. And that's all we need for the point-slope form. So now let's take a look at turning the point-slope form, which remember was y minus 5 equals the slope of 4 times x minus our x value, which is 2. So we have this equation here. So the first thing we need to do is carry down our y minus 5 equals, and now we're going to distribute 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times negative 2 is subtracting 8. Now that we have that, we're getting close to slope-intercept form because we have y equals mx plus b here, but we have this in the way here. So let's get rid of the subtraction of 5 by adding 5 to both sides. And now we take a look at this and we have y equals, carry down our 4x, and negative 8 plus 5 would leave a negative 3. So that's our second answer is y. This is the slope-intercept form. Right there is our y equals m is our slope plus b, which would be a negative 3. Now let's take a look at problem number 2. Same thing. I'm going to put the answer over here to start with, but understand this is for problem number 2. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, we've got another step here because we're not given a point and a slope. We're given 2 points. So we need to find the slope. So we have the change in y, which would be this and this. So we always start on the right. We have negative 1 minus another 1 over the change in x, which would be these two. So we're going to have negative 2 minus a negative 3 would be a plus 3. So we have negative 1 minus 1 would be negative 2 over negative 2 plus 3 would be a positive 1. So our m equals negative 2. So now we can write our equation here. And remember, whenever we do these, let's just always use the first point in order to get our point-slope form, and then everybody will be doing the same thing. So let's take a look at this. We have y minus our y value, which is 1, equals our slope of negative 2 times the quantity x minus our x value is x minus a negative 3 is x plus 3. And there is our point-slope form. Right here's our first answer. Let's get some clear space here. So I'm going to write that over here. We had y minus 1 equals negative 2 times the quantity x plus 3. Now we have to turn that into slope-intercept form. Y minus 1 equals negative 2 times x is minus 2x, and negative 2 times positive 3 would be a negative 6. So we're going to subtract 6. Once again, we have the subtraction of 1 in the way here, so let's just add 1 to both sides and undo that. And we have y equals negative 2x, negative 6 plus 1 is a subtraction of 5, negative 5. So there is our slope-intercept form, and right here is our point-slope form for problem number 2. Now let's take a look at problem number 3. Janelle is planning a party. The cost for 20 people is $290. The cost for 45 people is $590. Write an equation in point-slope form to represent the cost y of having a party for x people. What I think will make this easier for most students to see is if we create an x and y table here. It tells us that y is the cost, and it tells us that x represents the people. And now let's put our data in a table. So 20 people cost $290. And 45 people costs $590. So we need to have the slope because we want to put this in point-slope form. We have points here. We just have a point right here, 20 and 290, or we could use 45 and 590. But now we need the slope, and I think most kids see it easiest here. So let's put this here, because this would be, we'll use over here, our change in y over change in x. Change in y, it rises from 290 to 590, that's 300. The change in x goes from 20 up to 45, that's a rise of 25. Divide 300 divided by 25, and you get a slope of 12 over 1, or 12. So now we're going to put it in point-slope form. So and again, we're going to use the first point, 20, 290. So we have y minus our y value. Right here is our y value, 290, equals our slope of 12 times the quantity x minus our x value for 290 was 20, so minus 20. So our point slope form is y minus 290 equals 12, our slope, times the quantity x minus 20. The 20 is our x value and the 290 is our y value. And of course, this was the slope which we calculated right here. And now let's look at our essential question. I'm just going to show you the answer right in the answer key here. I can do this with this, which is kind of handy. It says, how does using the point slope form of a linear equation make it easier to write the equation of the line? And what they give for the sample answer, and I don't really think too much of it in one case, and I'll explain in a minute, they say you can substitute the slope and a point into the equation. You do not need to find the y-intercept of the line. Well, what I think they're leaving out here, what is key here, okay, this is the best way to go if, big if here, if you are given a point and the slope of the line to start out with. If you are given the slope and the point, then it becomes really easy to write an equation in point-slope form because that's what you're given. If you were given, for example, the slope and the y-intercept, then you would write it in slope-intercept form. I think that's the part that they're leaving out here. Please press pause and do independent practice.